Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another quick pick prediction video. In this video, I'll be predicting the women's featherweight bout between Norma Dumont versus Aspen Ladd. So this fight is actually at 145. This is not a 135 bout. This is a 145 bout. And probably if Aspen Ladd win, a title eliminator. If Norma Dumont wins, probably not. Because Norma Dumont said she wants to take it slow. She doesn't want to jump up to fight Amanda Nunes because she realizes the gap. I don't think Aspen Ladd realizes the gap between her and Amanda Nunes. I don't think she cares. She just feel like she's gonna luck her way or pray her way to a victory or something or whatnot, or whatever the case may be, whatever her Game of Thrones looking self thinks or feeling. But yeah, I definitely like Norma Dumont's mentality much better. I feel like she understand, like it's showing that mind, that brain, like she's like she knows where she's at. She's not gonna like say give me like 2-3 years or this amount of time. UFC probably not gonna play with it for her like you gotta take this fight, we gonna cut you, but. I feel like they play her out. She probably could in the future give Amanda Nunes a respectable challenge, but even then I was picking Amanda Nunes to beat her. Now, definitely Amanda Nunes. In the future, definitely Amanda Nunes, but definitely will give her a pretty solid fighter in the future, a solid fight in the future if given time. But I like that about her, that she realizes the gap and realizes that she's still very young in her career. Like, so it's not like she's has 20, 30 fights. She only got like a handful of fights. So she's still learning, she's still improving. So why rush her to fight the champion who had like 30 fights? And 2 belts in multiple defenses, the greatest woman MMA fighter of all time. Like, she clearly has some sense. I feel like Aspen Ladd is like young and still like I can do this, I can do that. But Aspen Ladd clearly nowhere near Amanda Nunes. Pretty much a one-dimensional fighter versus Amanda Nunes, who beats her in every area. So, and pretty much, yeah. So at least 2 minutes of this video, I like the mentality of Norma Dumont. But let's get into the prediction. 2 minutes, it's not even quick no more. But 2 minutes into the video, I like Norma Dumont to win this one. I'm picking Norma Dumont to win this one. I feel like she's the bigger woman. She came in at 145. Then she kind of struggled to make 135. Aspen Ladd came in at 135, but struggled to make 135. So they both not small for 145. But I feel like Norma Dumont, the truer 145er, be the bigger woman. I feel like she's the more technical, flushed out striker, has more power, has more technique, has more weapons on the feet. Whereas Aspen Ladd is she got a fighter looking to smother you, coming with that wading in, striking that a lot of these grapplers come in head first and trying to throw some pillows at you, then hug and drag you to the ground. That's what she wants to do. Now I feel like she's not too much different from Felicia Spencer, who Dumont just beat. But the fact that it's 5 rounds, I don't know how Norma Dumont's cardio is. Definitely been a little bit questionable about her. So maybe you want to bank on her getting a finish, but I'm banking on her getting a decision, which is still very questionable. So it's very much a risky pick to pick Dumont in this one, given her cardio. But she had good cardio. It would be easy to pick her. But the fact that her cardio does dip ball is a question. But I don't feel like Dumont, feel like she don't have to worry too much about Aspen Ladd striking in this thing. She don't have to worry too much. Like Felicia Spencer striking ain't all that great, but she's very durable. She's been there with the two hardest hitting women in MMA pretty much. And the Cyborg and Amanda Nunes, and she didn't get finished. So finisher was a very slim chance. So you got a big punching bag with pretty decent striking coming at you for 3 rounds. So maybe your cardio is going to dip off. You hit them with everything that you got, and they just still there. But Aspen Ladd definitely ain't Felicia Spencer. I'm not saying she's chinny, but she definitely ain't Felicia Spencer. Is all I'm saying. So the same shots could definitely have more effect on her that she was landing on Felicia Spencer. So I feel like Felicia Spencer is a better fighter than Ladd, to be honest, at this given point. Grappling better, striking better, bigger than Aspen Ladd, tougher than Aspen Ladd, pace higher than Aspen Ladd. But again, I see this tough matchup. I can definitely see Norma Dumont winning and leading early, but maybe Aspen Ladd started to come on late because of, like I said, the questionable cardio. But also Aspen Ladd on her side, she hasn't fought since like 2019 or 2020, so she hasn't fought in a minute, whereas Dumont's fresh to come off and win. And I definitely think she'll be working on her cardio, working on this and working on these different things, because she had a fresh fight. She saw, where she went wrong in her last fight and got a big win and come off with a lot of confidence and looking to work on, pad up those areas where she did have weaknesses, where she did find success in that fight. So I'm expecting her to come out here looking sharp, walking the wadding in Ladd into a lot of shots, tagging her up. Price, when Ladd trying to go over aggressive with some takedown, you got to realize Norma Dumont has a grappling background as well, so she's not like she's a striker. She has grappling as well. Same way with the Spence fight, she had grappling as well. It's not in case she's some person that's not a grappler. She's a hell of a grappler herself. Maybe not to the degree of these women, but definitely enough to compete with them in MMA when she is the better striker and the better overall fighter. She can find success in her grappling, especially when her opponent is looking predictable. So I feel like she could score some takedowns on Ladd, catch her with some takedowns when Ladd is overextending or over-aggressive with her takedowns or wadding in. Probably tag her up, probably sneaking a takedown in there. Couple takedowns in the fight. But I do feel like it's going to be a case where Ladd maybe going to come on late, but it's not going to be enough to get the decision victory. It's probably going to be like Dumont looking sharp for probably the first 2 or 3 rounds. Well, probably the first half of the first 3 rounds. Then kind of dipping off in the 4th and 5th a little bit, but her first 3 rounds will be enough. But I'm hoping that she will show some improvements, but I can at least bank on her looking sharper when she's fresh. But I feel like she's going to dip off, and that's going to allow, the fight to be a little bit close. But I feel like, again, she'll at least win 2 solid rounds, and probably knows what rounds when she starts to dip off, she still might be able to win one of those rounds. But still very, a very fresh fighter, so it's not, you can't really judge too much on her. You can say, oh, she looked tired in the fight, but ultimately she won that fight. And the only fight she did lose was by knockout. And she got caught by a bigger actual 145er. That's all that was. She didn't get caught by a 135er. And that 145, she's going against Ladd, who's not really a 145er. Or really, maybe she should be because she can't make 135. But ultimately, I feel like I'm leaning to Norma Dumont's technical advantages, basically what I'm saying this one. Technical advantages, being a more technical fighter, the sharper striker, more well-rounded to get her hand raised in this one. But I do question her cardio a bit and the fact that Ladd might be able to come on late and potentially do stuff, or if Ladd can get a takedown early in the fight, be to drain out what a little energy or what bit of energy she does have in the win. But if Dumont they would keep this fight standing and like be the sharper striker, this fight is all hers, I feel. So in this fight, I have Norma Dumont via decision.